Chapter 9. Be kind to our language. Avoid pronouncing the phrases everyone else does. Think up your own way of speaking, even if only to convey that thing you think everyone else is saying. Make an effort to separate yourself from the internet. Read books. Victor Klemperer, a literary scholar of Jewish origin, turned his philological training against Nazi propaganda. He noticed how Hitler's language rejected legitimate opposition. The people always meant some people and not others. Encounters were always struggles. And any attempt by free people to understand the world in a different way was defamation of the leader. Politicians in our times feed their clichés to televisions, where even those who wish to disagree repeat them. Television purports to challenge political language by conveying images, but the succession from one frame to another can hinder a sense of resolution. Everything happens fast, but nothing actually happens. Each story on televised news is breaking until it is displaced by the next one. So we are hit by a wave upon wave, but never see the ocean. The effort to define the shape and significance of events requires words and concepts that elude us when we are entranced by visual stimuli. Watching televised news is sometimes little more than looking at someone who is looking at a picture. We take this collective trance to be normal. We have slowly fallen into it. More than half a century ago, the classic novels of totalitarianism warned of domination of screens, the suppression of books, the narrowing of vocabularies, and the associated difficulties of thought. In Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451, published in 1953, firemen find and burn books while most citizens watch interactive television. In George Orwell's 1984, published in 1949, books are banned and television is two-way, allowing the government to observe citizens at all times. In 1984, the language of visual media is highly constrained to starve the public of the concepts needed to think about the present, remember the past, and consider the future. One of the regime's projects is to limit the language further by eliminating even more words with each edition of the official dictionary. Staring at screens is perhaps unavoidable, but the two-dimensional world makes little sense unless we can draw upon a mental armory we have developed somewhere else. When we repeat the same words and phrases that appear in daily media, we accept the absence of a larger framework. To have such a framework requires more concepts, and having more concepts requires reading. So, get the screens out of your room and surround yourself with books. The characters in George Orwell's and Bradbury's books could not do this, but we still can. What to read? Any good novel enlivens our ability to think about ambiguous situations and judge the intentions of others. Fyodor Dostoevsky's Brothers Karamazov and Milan Kundendra's The Unbearable Lightness of Being might suit our moment. Sinclair Lewis's novel It Can't Happen Here is perhaps not a great work of art. Philip Roth's The Plot Against America is better. One novel known by millions of young Americans that offers an account of tyranny and resistance is J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. If you or your friends or your children did not read it in this way at first, then it bears reading again. Some of the political and historical texts that inform the arguments made here are Politics and the English Language by George Orwell, The Language of the Third Reich by Victor Klemperer, The Origins of Totalitarianism by Hannah Arendt, The Rebel by Albert Camus, The Captive Mind, The Power of the Powerless, How to be a Conservative Liberal Socialist, The Use of Adversity, The Burden of Responsibility, The Ordinary Men. Christians might return to their foundational book, which, as ever, is very timely. Jesus preached that it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of God. We should be modest, for whomever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. And of course, we must be concerned with what is true and what is false. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.